Hi everyone, my name is Thomas Paquebet, journalist for IT for Business. It is my pleasure to host today's roundtable where we will be speaking about cloud, of course, and how businesses can use it to help build their client digital sovereign strategies. Today, I have with me Youssoupha Diop, CTO Aeroline at Sopra Steria. Hi.
Hi, Thomas.
Rudolf Scheipers, VP Head of Outsourcing Partner Certification at SAP. Hi, Rudolf.
Hello.
And Miroslaw Klaba, R&D Director at OVHcloud. Hi, Miroslav.
Hi, Thomas.
Your three companies choose to work together to offer a service, more precisely the migration of SAP to OVHcloud, a service compliant to the French label SecNumCloud. We will of course speak about this partnership. First of all, I would like the three of you to introduce your companies and the service you offer. I will start with Miroslav.
OVHcloud is an European leader in cloud industry. It's a 23 years company, and we provide different services around the cloud, private cloud, bare metal, public cloud as well. And we are very focused on sovereignty, on the data that are very important for our customers, and transparency and values that are more European driven. And we are very focused at working with our partners, with ecosystem to provide the best value for our customers.
Rudolf, some word about your company.
Well, SAP is the market leader in enterprise application software. It's also a kind of a special year today because the company just turned 50 and it's quite a while for the industry. We have a global presence within SAP to introduce the certification program, what we do also for more than 20 years. We certify partners for their operations capability from cloud, from infrastructure up to application management and other areas.
Youssoupha, please, some words on your company.
My company is Sopra Steria. It is a French-based and European-based IT software company providing many services around consulting, for example, integration, and also software development. We provide also software for banking, for example. So, large company with multinational customers everywhere in Europe and also in the rest of the world. So.
Let's talk a bit about this partnership. Miroslav, why do you choose to offer SAP on OVHcloud? We
started, it's a long journey for us because we were first customers of SAP. It's better when you feel it, when you're a customer of a solution like this, and you better understand from where we come because we are digital native, to see that kind of solution, which is a large solution for big enterprise, and we wanted to know deeper and then to in fact provide those solutions, those platforms, the infrastructure to host SAP in the end. So we work with SAP, we work with partners, with Sopra Steria in how we can bring the value together and in fact help the customer to move to the cloud in the easiest way.
There are plenty of partners in the IT world, but why did you choose precisely Sopra Steria for?
Because I think it's a long partnership also, because we work together for a long time on different projects. We've seen a lot of synergy in between our teams and how we can work together. We have strong interactions. We can provide together a good platform at the end for the customer and easier to use at the end.
Rudolf, why SAP choose to work with OVHcloud? I think there's a history between the two of you.
There is a kind of a history, yeah. I mean, just 2 years back, I think, was the first touch point between OVHcloud and SAP. So there was a request to be certified from an SAP perspective for the operations capabilities in cloud and infrastructure. That was the first touch point, mainly at that point in time focused for Germany. And then quite quickly we also came to the point that we could extend the partnership because OVHcloud has delivery organizations in many countries. So we extended the certification scope and finally we ended up in UK, in Germany and in France. So that's already a pretty nice journey for a relatively short time.
Okay, and it is, I think, only the beginning. Same question to you, Youssoupha. Why do you choose to select OVHcloud for the migration of SAP?
As mentioned by Miroslav, we have a long journey together with the two companies working together on different projects. I mean, in my domain, in my area, we are working for customers who need, I would say, a certain level of security, and also they are moving from, we say, on-premise software, on-premise hosting for their servers, especially for SAP servers, and now they are moving a little bit to the cloud. Even we have some regulation and laws that we need to be compliant, and also we know that OVHcloud is now compliant in many sectors, in many domains. I will say SecNumCloud, we will talk a little bit later. That's why, for sure, OVHcloud is a cloud provider. We are not we are not hosting the environment for our customer. We need a partner for that, and that we rely and we count on OVHcloud for that topic. And also we need the service on top of the cloud to be able to deliver our own software and also to deliver and to build the software, to design the software of our customer on top of the cloud. And thanks to this history, thanks to the services provided by OVHcloud, we are able today to deliver and to build, for example, SAP solution for our customer, or to move ECC to the new SAP software S4HANA and so on. So that's why we need a partner, and we start to build this kind of partner with OVHcloud.
Why do you migrate today your customer, I mean the ERP user, to the cloud? I mean, there's a huge movement to the cloud, but why did you choose to migrate them to the cloud?
There is a lot of reasons, I would say, for our customer to move to the cloud. The first one is, the obsolescence of the software and hardware platform, for example. They need to fight the obsolescence of their software. So we all know that in my domain, in my area, we are a lot of customers still running on ECC systems. They need to move to the latest software. Then for that, they need also to build a new infrastructure to run all those new softwares. Those new hardware is more comfortable, it's more convenient to go to the cloud to run, I would say, that because it's more flexible, it's more robust, you have a kind of scalability as well, performance, and everything you need to meet the customer requirement regarding those aspects. And the cloud could provide and could be, I would say, a solution for our customer. Another reason could be also they want to have a certain degrees or level of security. We are for sure the on-premise software and hosting is for sure secure. And when they want to move to the cloud, they need to have at least the same level of security. That's one point, and we know that at OVHcloud, we have this kind of compliance, many certification, especially also SAP certification, but also we need a certain level of data confidentiality, data security. And then there is some specific certification that the whole value chain should present to be sure that we will meet all the requirements, all the law and the regulation, and we will be compliant at the end. That's why we are trying to work on top of OVHcloud, because we know that this kind of level of data confidentiality, data sovereignty is there.
We'll talk about data sovereignty in a couple of minutes, but one last question. What do you expect exactly from your partner, OVHcloud? What do you expect from this cloud provider?
I would say the basis, the foundation, I would say the infrastructure, the compute, and all the resources I would say we need to run our software and to run the software of our customers. So that's I would say the basis. Second things is I would say services on top of the infrastructure. So it could be provided by OVH, also by some partner of OVH, and we are also providing on top of OVH some services that others can use, for example. This is the second level, and at the end also we need, as I mentioned, all the security, all the compliance and so on. That's why it's really important to have a partner like OVH and to build on top of their infrastructure. That's the point.
I would like to hear you guys speak about the digital sovereignty. You know that it's a really important topic, especially in France, not exactly around Europe. We talk about that with Rudolf, but Miroslav, why are OVHcloud services sovereign?
First, we are very integrated. We try, and at most we used to manage all the stack where what we provide, and in fact to have the roots of that, the security, give that trust to the customer, to the partners, try to have that trust with them. So we try to build up that every day and continue on that. It's important for us that the data itself belongs to the customer. It's a key value. I think maybe it's an European value, I don't know, but it's something that is very key on how we build up the things, and we don't want to touch that data because it's kind of trust what we give to our customers. We try to respect that as much as possible, and this is the heart of the trust with our customers. And in fact, that gives the sovereignty for our customers to share his data if he wants, don't share it if he wants, and it's their data, it's not ours. And it's very important, it's very key for us.
That's why it was important for OVHcloud to get the SecNumCloud label.
Exactly. So it's also a way to show with certification, with labels like SecNumCloud, to in fact demonstrate that we've got the level of security by third parties, by ANSSI, by knowledge knowledgeable people to see that we've got the level of security that in fact creates the sovereignty of data for our customers.
Rudolf, you know that in France the question of data and sovereignty, about what Miroslav said, it's important for the companies to own the data, but is the question of the localization of the data, is it important for customers?
It is definitely important in Europe. It might be also that in Europe it's a little more important than in other regions. So there is definitely a high focus on security topics and data sovereignty. So I can just support what Miroslav was just saying, because it's the trust of the customer to the service provider that data are secure and securely handled. And also we, in this case from an SAP certification perspective, we can support this by looking into the processes at the provider at some quality or security related aspects. So just to support that the customer can have the full trust in the relation with the service provider.
How does SAP addresses this question of digital sovereignty? What kind of service or program did you develop to make sure that your customer understand that you work precisely on that really important topic?
Yeah, well, even SAP, as just described, even SAP has a variety of certifications and labels to work according to the rules and regulations. And I mean, we see different scenarios. We have our own data centers. We see many partners with their data center by themselves or having co-locations. And we can just elaborate the same level of importance in these kind of scenarios. So even SAP as a company has a high interest in the topic and, as just said, has a variety of underlying certifications, what that proves.
Let's speak about the challenge of your customer. Miroslav, what is your target audience, and can you remind us what are their current challenges?
Our targets are many partners and integrators of the SAP world, because we provide the infrastructure, so we will support the end customer, but we will work together with partners like Sopra Steria to in fact go on to what the customer needs at the end. Our main focus is to support that platform that will provide them the added value, to also have the different services that they can build on top of.
If we focus precisely on the lift and shift, so the move to cloud, we spoke about that earlier, what are the key challenges for your customer and how do you address them?
I think on different scenarios that we have seen, we've got different transformations that are needed, that are very seen from the customers. In fact, they want to evolve there and have an enhancement, but there's also a move to cloud to try to have as much as possible the same kind of services they can have on-premise, and in fact be on the same level, on the same kind of infrastructure, so they're not too much touched by the move to cloud. And in fact, it's a challenge to in fact have the continuum on the application at the end for the customer and try to support that into the cloud.
Rudolf, how do you address this move to the cloud of your customer? We know that there's now 4 or 3 years that the S/4HANA move is really important, but how do you address that?
Yeah, so I mean, as you said, S/4HANA is definitely one key aspect in this. SAP as such has a cloud focus. So we come from a very strong on-premise business and also on-premise installed base of our customers. And since, well, maybe 6-7 years, the whole journey has started to bring customers to S/4HANA and even beyond. And from a partner perspective, because I can mainly speak for the SAP partner ecosystem, we see that this is kind of in between the demand of the customers, who definitely have a request and demand to go to the cloud because they want it to be supported.
They ask it.
They ask it, because they see the advantages, and you described it very well. There are many advantages in speed and availability, whatever. And so the providers, the partners, are somehow in the middle, and they are the vehicle and they are the trusted advisors, if you want, who need to execute this cloud transformation. So the better this can be done and the more reliable and trustful this is, the easier it is for the customer also to rely on the service provider. We also see it from a partner certification perspective, because if you see, cloud was there in our portfolio already like 10 years ago, but that was more like infrastructure as a service. And it really evolved. We added S/4HANA operation certification. We now are moving into topics like RISE or the SAP SAP BTP. So there is a constant move. I think what we have to understand is also that operations in our case comes mostly at the end of the life cycle. So that means there is first a lot of implementation and then transformation and transition, but it also has to be ensured that the cloud operations is done in a proper way.
Youssoupha, you agree to what?
Absolutely,
what
absolutely, yeah. If I just come back to your question regarding the challenges from my perspective, and maybe I will make a step just beside from the business perspective, is just the first one will be the business continuity for them. If they try to move some things that was on-premise previously and then to the cloud, they don't want to have a cut, for example, from a business point of view. They need to continue to run their system and their software. They need to make their business day to day. So they need to access to SAP and continue their daily business. That's the first point. But if you have a look for this journey from the cloud, from the on-premise to the cloud, and it depends again. The type of implementation you will perform, brownfield, greenfield. Each kind of, I would say, move to cloud will have its own specific task or specific or technical things to manage to be sure that we will reach the target at the end and we will run the software. And also, one other point, one challenge also is the move operated by SAP in terms of cloud. Rudolf mentioned it. It's not only moving your system to the cloud, it's also moving your software to the cloud. And SAP take this turn, I would say years ago, saying that we can complete your ERP system. You can add additional features thanks to the software as a service. So we have many examples today. We need to have the ERP or the SAP system, the S/4HANA system, maybe on premise for certain reason or maybe on the cloud for another reason. But at the end, we need also to implement additional solutions like IBP, for example, from SAP, and also to use the BTP to make the integration between both. So there is multiple, I would say, challenges from the business point of view for the technical or for the partner that will implement the solution. And so we need to take into account all those challenges and fix all the issues we have during this journey.
To end this roundtable, I would like to discuss the way you guys think the market is heading. Youssoupha, what are your thoughts on market trends and especially on your sector?
If I come to the aeronautic and the space sector, we see, for sure, move to the cloud. So we spoke about it. I will not get back again on that topic. But also hybridation. So we see more and more. And also the overall solution for the customer will rely on multiple, I would say, software, multiple applications that need to be integrated well all together to be sure that we will address the requirement of our customer. Because in our domain, we faced 2 years ago a crisis. Everybody knows about the COVID crisis, and we have a huge ramp down this sector, and that's ramp down had a huge impact on the whole sector. And now it's totally a turnout, and now we have a ramp up, for sure, and we need to produce more and more aircraft, for example. So we need to help our customer to be flexible. When there is a crisis, then we will adapt, and they need to be adapted to the market. And then when we have a ramp up, then they also need to have all the things needed to be sure that they will address their own and their respective market. So that's some things we see: flexibility, variability, because we have many crises we don't know so far, but we need to face those crises, and we need to be the more flexible possible and to provide for that the best software platform to be sure that the customer will be able to run and to continue their business. Yeah.
Same question for you, Rudolf. What are your thoughts on the market and especially around the cloud market?
I can just support what you just recently said, and I would like to add one aspect again from a partner perspective, because the flexibility, the hybrid scenarios, etc., all this needs to be managed. So we came up with a term what we regularly use since a while is the role of the orchestrator. It's cloud, it's hybrid, it's on-premise, it's multi-cloud, it's SAP, non-SAP. So you have various things what you have to manage and to orchestrate, because the customer in the end is totally focused on the business process. Now the customer is really not caring, if you want, what's the underlying technology. So for the customer it's important, and for the end user it's important that the applications are running. That is one point, and a second point is that partners need to have the ability to a certain degree to also consult their customers in what is the right way, what is the right speed, what are, let's say, the support in the cloud transition, etc. So there is a certain role of also a consultant, what a partner needs to provide to guide a customer into the right direction.
Youssoupha, I would like to know how Sopra Steria address the question of digital sovereignty and the question of sustainability. So two questions in one.
So it's not quite easy to answer directly, but this is mainly based on our customer requirements regarding the digital sovereignty on one hand. Because I work for domain, aeronautic and spatial and defense as well, where they need to keep hand on their data. You know, there are a lot of data, the confidentiality of data is really key for them, and they need solution when they will move from on-premise systems to the cloud, where data sovereignty, data confidentiality remains at the hand of the customer. So we need something trusted by everywhere, trusted also by authorities in terms of certification. That's why we rely on the SecNumCloud certification from OVHcloud.
The French label.
Absolutely one. And they also need to have their data keep somewhere in, we say, in a trusted environment. We provide at Sopra Steria some software on top of OVH. We call it the Trusted Digital Platform, where we benefit from the infrastructure layer from OVH. We add on top of this the software to manage applications and application services for our customer and deliver services on top of that. At the end, there is I would say, a trustful solution that will help the customer to run their business processes on. That's the one point on the digital sovereignty. They need definitely to keep the data in their hand in a trustful environment, a trustful platform, and that's why OVHcloud and the SecNumCloud certification is really important for them. When it comes to the sustainability, again, in aeronautic, you know that you may be aware that people are now, more impacted and more aware about, their carbon footprint, for example. So the whole industry is moving to be the more sustainable possible, and it starts, I would say, from the design of the aircraft itself. All the software they are using in their daily business processes to design the aircraft, to manufacture the aircraft, to maintain the aircraft are built on software. And at Sopra Steria, we are convinced that sustainability is really important for the future. We at Sopra Steria also have a conviction that we need to be sustainable ourselves first. So we have some certification inside Sopra Steria to answer this. We are also building our own IT system, for example, to be eco-friendly. And also we are working on the software we deliver to our customer to be sure that the algorithm, the software code we deliver every day is really optimized in the way that when it will run on top of OVH infrastructure, for example, it will be really some things that is optimized for the software itself and optimized for the result, the business process that we run on top of that. At the end, when you add all the layers, starting from the aircraft design, for example, and all the software that is being used for the design and the manufacturing of the aircraft, and also for the service delivered around the aircraft, when you add all the layers with the software and all those stuff, then at the end we have a global aircraft more sustainable than in the past, and that's the goal, the overall goal of the industry, for example.
Same question to you, Miroslav. What are your prospects and your thought about the close future of your sector and of the industry?
The industry is growing. In fact, we've got a lot of challenges, like you have said, on the up and downs and the scalability that is needed by the customers, and in fact to be able to adapt. I think the question of our customers is to be able to maybe forget the cloud and have the application running at the end, and it's our key element to in fact support that and have the worldwide presence to support, in fact, those applications that can scale differently, different use cases. This is the challenges that we've got in front of us.
Thank to the three of you, because it's the end of this really interesting roundtable. Thanks to you to watching us. Thank you.